No one would have believed in the first years of the 21st century that Britain's affairs were being watched and scrutinized from an alien world. With the help of our three political parties, who lied to the British public about their intentions, minds immeasurably more bureaucratic than ours, slowly and surely drew their plans against us. And then it came. The hideous body of the EU. Smashing our democracy and destroying our laws. Plotting to annihilate our currency and sucking up our pension funds. Devastating our agriculture and fishing industries. And obliterating the very freedoms and liberties Britain has enjoyed for centuries.
This is not entirely science fiction. In fact, this is a bogus election, because though you see this interview on College Green, the fact is that 70% of our laws are now made in Brussels.
Millions of you want to say no. UKIP became the third largest party in 2004 with 12 MEPs elected, although you wouldn't think so judging by the lack of media coverage. Are they frightened by the truth? UKIP wants to see an independent Britain. Instead of the EU, we want Parliament at the hub so that we're free to make our own policies and laws in the UK. Say no to European Union so that we can trade freely. Britain is stopped from helping its industry, such as Rover, by the EU.
We are the only party at this election saying that we believe the best people to govern Britain are the British people themselves. Let's divorce ourselves from the corrupt political structures of the European Union. Let's have friendship and free trade with our next-door neighbours, but govern our own country. We want our country back.
Say no so that we can keep the pound and regain control of interest rates and the economy.
Say no to wasteful bureaucracy in the health service. Hand back control to doctors and nurses. They know what they're doing.
Say no so that we can control our borders.
If you had a 6-bedroom house and it only took 50 people, would you put 100 people in it? Well, that's exactly the situation with immigration at the moment. We are overstretched and we need to cut that down. The EU cannot help us because the borders are totally open. UKIP are the only party that is saying no, and we must start to address this problem now. The EU, they're having a laugh. But let's make sure it's not at our expense.
Say no so that we can really fight crime.
UKIP believe that homeowners should be allowed to defend their property against intruders. We want the police on the streets fighting crime, not behind desks fighting paper.
Say no to student fees.
Say no so that we can restore educational standards. We want to shift power from bureaucrats to teachers.
Say no to high food prices.
Once we're out of the EU, we can regulate our own food production. We can cut the average family's food costs by up to £20 a week, and we can decide whether we plant GM crops or not.
And what would you say to an extra £25 a week on your pension?
I'd rather have independence from the EU.
With UKIP, you can have both.
Next year, we're going to give £15 billion to the corrupt European Union. They haven't even had their accounts signed off for the last 10 years in a row. Why not give that money to Britain's struggling pensioners? What we can do in this election is to get the first UKIP MPs sitting in Parliament over here, speaking up for the millions of you that are currently unrepresented in the British Parliament today.
If you're tired of the lies and deceit of the three traditional parties, the Lib Lab Con, then why not vote through conviction rather than through habit, and vote for the UK Independence Party on May the 5th.